Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm George, and today we're going to have a look at one of the radios from the job lot that I bought a week and a bit ago now. And if you want to see the video where I went down and collected them, have a look for the road trip video, which should be the one that was just released. Today we're going to be working on the Strad PW461 by RM Electric, made in the UK in 1946. Let's get on with it. That was the video I did make originally, and then I made a mistake and I deleted the wrong file, and then it had no sound, and then it was just a complete mess, and yada yada yada. Radio, bench, on, no problem. I've put the radio back in the case so that you can see what it looks like together. Obviously I've kept the knobs off, the valves are still out. The case itself, a little bit grotty, not a particularly good looking case at the moment, although I think it will clean up quite well. I'm going to take the radio out of the case and I'm going to explain what I've done so far, which is very little, to be quite honest. The inside of the case has got lots of dirt, but is all original. The thing needs a wash out. You can see where they've used an epoxy resin to repair that crack, but they've left it a little bit wide at the top. We'll try and sort that. We'll hide the crack, I'm sure, in the polishing stage. I'll try and do a better job than that. The hardboard backing was in good condition, not quite flat, but I'm sure I can flatten that with a little bit of water and pressing it between two flat surfaces. We'll see if we can get that done at some stage. The dial face of the radio is suffering from paint flaking off, and apparently it's quite common on these. I will be putting this on the scanner and trying to clean it up, and I'm in two minds whether to recreate a dial glass or whether to just put a sheet behind it to stop any more falling off it. It all depends on how dirty everything is now. It looks very dirty on the outside and the inside, so I'm in two minds. There may be a company that will provide a replacement for these. We'll have to wait and see. The top of the cabinet, rusty. It's been stored very damp. Not a lot I can say about that, except I'm going to have to polish that off. I put this mains cord on it for the last video to test it, and it did have all the valves in, and it didn't receive much of a signal. The dial cord is, well, it's a bit of twine with a knot halfway down it, and the springs aren't doing anything, and it's a bit hit and miss, I'll be honest. It's not very good. The capacitor needs a good clean up. There's quite a bit of gunk inside the vanes there, as you can see. It's just a bit disgusting, so maybe a bit of time in the knob wash will clean that up. I'll have to obviously take that off the board. The transformer, again, a little bit rusty. I might well take that off and clean it up. We'll have a look. There's a lot of wires there to come off, and it might not be the best thing for it, but at least it means I could get the chassis clean if I did that. Let's turn it over. We've had some sort of explosion in here of gunk. This capacitor has let go its shmoo out the end as well. This is a modern replacement. I'd hate to say when this was done. The old wiring, now this I believe was plaited together in a lacing cord, and somebody's obviously taken that out for whatever reason. This side we've still got a can cap. I'm going to have to test that to see if it's good. We've got plenty of other wax capacitors in here, which I'm not sure whether they'll be any good or not. It's a matter of testing, seeing, having a look. Who knows? It might be good, they might not be. They're probably not. Everything is on a tag strip, which makes things a little bit easier to deal with. I'm looking at this whole switching assembly, and it looks like it's designed to come out from the case, which would make cleaning that switch a lot easier. It would also make cleaning the bottom half of the chassis a little bit easier too, because obviously if I'm going to start replacing bits, I'll need access to these components here, and rather than make it hard for myself, I could lift the whole thing out. This is the speaker with the field coil. Again, dusty. The rubber cord is perished and in various places. Now again, because this is carrying HT, it needs to be replaced. The actual cone itself sounds a bit scratchy. I have a feeling that there's a bit of rust just down the bottom here, which is what's causing the problem. I may be able to get a thin piece of card in there to just run round and clean it out. I am going to start though with the first job, which is to take photographs of everything that I can see. And you don't need fancy cameras, you just need to take reams and reams of photographs from every angle. Sometimes you have to move some wiring just to get some idea of where things are going. Try and photograph the valve slots. We'll put things under here. See if I can get a picture of underneath the cage. Put the phone in this gap. I think I'm too close there. And these photographs will just allow you to have a reference as to where things were for when you want to put them back. And again, we'll do the same here on the transformer. Grid leads. And that will do us for now. Obviously we've got grid connectors that need replacing. These are perished as well. This is a very nice bit of shielded wire over a rubber cable. I do know that the dial lamps both work, but they're a bit dirty in the sockets. Great. We've already said about the dial cord being not very good and pretty useless, to be quite honest, so that's going to be replaced. Transformer, as I say, yep, that's a thing, needs cleaning up, might just repaint that. I might end up taking the cans off here completely so that I can strip this down properly and buff this up and make it look a lot prettier. So I'm wondering which bit to start with first. Now, the bit that is the most fragile to me is the dial assembly and the pointer. And I don't want the dial glass to get any sort of damage at all. Let's take the dial assembly to bits, and I'll bring you back once that's done, and I'll think of what I'm going to do next, whether it's capacitors or take out the tuning section here, the band switch selection here. Let me start, let me do, and I can then show you the parts as they've come out. Right, okay, back again, and we've got a fair amount of this in bits now. We have tuning cap off, we have the transformer off, and you'll see I've put some little flags on it. I've also marked the chassis underneath where all the wires came from. This is the coil assembly with all of the coils and the band selector switch here, which, I'll be honest, looks really, really disgustingly dirty. It looks really disgustingly dirty, and it looks like it's full of capacitor smooth. So we're going to have to clean that out somehow. I don't want to dismantle all the coils, so I'm going to have to find a way. I might be able to put it in the ultrasonic. I might not. We shall have to wait and see. Then we have the chassis itself, which is in the state it's in. Now that I can get to it, I still might take off the IF cans and then just start with a bare top. These rubber bits are okay, but these ones have cracked and are starting to fall out. That one's gone solid. So I think I'm going to be replacing a lot of bits anyway. Now that I'm going to split down into the smaller sections and just turn into a single cap there to put into the wash, and then wash all the other parts separately. So there we go. I think that's enough for one video. Hopefully I won't mess up the timing this time and mess it all up and make it wrong and break it, and yeah, there we go. It is what it is. We're all happy, and hopefully you'll enjoy watching one of the other videos which will appear on screen sometime around now. I will say thank you for subscribing, and if you like what you see, you'll get notifications if you click the bell and all notifications. See you next time.